I rescued a stray dog that everyone in my apartment complex ignored last night. She woke me up barking and saved 23 people from a gas leak in our building. 6 months ago, I moved into a no pets allowed apartment complex in Chicago. The rent was what I could afford as a first-year teacher, and the location was perfect, just a 10-minute walk to the elementary school where I teach. About 2 months after moving in, I started noticing a small, scruffy dog hanging around the dumpsters behind our building. She was clearly a stray, ribs showing, matted fur, and extremely skittish. I watched as my neighbors either completely ignored her or actively shooed her away. One man even threw an empty coffee cup at her. I started leaving small bowls of water and food behind the dumpster where the property manager wouldn't notice. After about 2 weeks, the dog began waiting for me in the mornings and evenings. I named her Penny because of her copper-colored coat. Eventually, I convinced Penny to follow me up the back stairwell to my apartment. She was in rough shape, ear infection, worms, and what looked like healed injuries from either a fight or abuse. I couldn't afford a vet visit right away, so I gave her a bath, picked up some basic meds from the pet store, and made her a bed in my closet that I could quickly hide during maintenance visits. Mrs. Chen from 3B warned me I'd get evicted. The college guys in 2A said she probably had diseases. The property manager, Mr. Wilson, had already given me a verbal warning after suspecting I was feeding strays, but Penny was quiet, well-behaved, and honestly the best roommate I'd ever had. Last night around 2:30 a.m. I woke up to Penny barking frantically, something she had never done before. She was running between my bed and the front door, barking and whining. I tried to calm her down, but she refused to settle. When I opened my front door to take her outside, I noticed a faint smell that reminded me of rotten eggs. I carking up with a dad who worked for the gas company. I immediately recognized it as a gas leak. I called 911, pulled the fire alarm, and started knocking on doors to wake my neighbors. The fire department arrived within minutes and confirmed a major gas leak in the building. The source was a faulty connection in the basement that was sending gas up through the ventilation system. The fire chief said if it had gone undetected for another hour or two, a single spark could have caused an explosion that would have destroyed the entire building. All 23 residents were safely evacuated. As we stood outside watching emergency crews work, my neighbors kept asking how I knew about the leak. When I explained it was Penny who alerted me, everything changed. Mrs. Chen asked to pet her. The college guys offered to chip in for her vet bills. Even Mr. Wilson approached me about the dog he started, and I braced myself for the eviction notice. Instead, he said, the building owner has been informed of tonight's events. He's agreed to make an exception to the no pets policy in Penny's case. Consider her rent paid. This morning, the local news showed up to interview me about the Harrow Hound. Penny sat patiently for the camera, soaking up pets from neighbors who had previously crossed the street to avoid her. The reporter asked what I saw in her that made me take her in when everyone else ignored her. The truth is, I didn't rescue Penny because I thought she'd save lives or make the news. I rescued her because she needed someone to see her value when no one else would. Turns out, she did the same for me.